Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. I've had so many amazing trips to Scandinavia over the years, and my recent trip to Stockholm was no exception. It's a big city that's spread out over a bunch of different islands, so it's really cool to see how the city changes as you jump from island to island to island. But all of that island hopping is going to make you hungry, so what should you eat when you're in Stockholm? Today, I'll tell you about some amazing Swedish foods and Stockholm specialties that you need to try on your trip. If you ask most travelers about iconic Swedish foods, the first thing that'll come to mind will probably be Swedish meatballs. You're not going to have any trouble finding them in Stockholm. They seem to be on menus all over town. What's not to love? Meatballs, lingonberry sauce, potatoes, and creamy gravy. They're delicious. My only warning is to avoid getting them in some of the super touristy parts of Old Town Stockholm, since they'll probably be overpriced and not as good. Another Swedish specialty worth trying is toast Skagen. It's a pretty straightforward dish, but really tasty. As a base, you have pieces of toast, and piled on top is a mixture of shrimp, mayo, and dill. It's a similar idea to a tuna or chicken salad sandwich, but more of a toasted, open-faced version of those. A great Stockholm fast food is kebabtallrik, a kebab plate. You start with a nice base of French fries, but the toppings are what really sets it apart. As you can probably tell from the name, the most important ingredient is the kebab meat that's loaded on top. But then it's covered in garlic and tomato sauces to give it some nice added flavor. I'll admit, I'm always a sucker for foods that load a bunch of toppings on fries, so I definitely like the kebabtallrik. Another famous late-night Stockholm street food is tunnbrodsrulle. It's a flatbread tortilla wrapped around a hot dog, scoops of mashed potatoes, and a bunch of other toppings. I'll admit, when I first saw it, I thought it sounded a little weird. But since it sounded different, I knew I had to try it. And it was actually pretty good. So if you're walking around Stockholm and see a hot dog stand selling these, take the plunge and try one out. If you spend enough time in Stockholm, you're going to hear about Fika, the Swedish coffee break. They take their coffee breaks very seriously in Sweden, so make sure to join in and see what it's all about. And when it's Fika time, a lot of people add in some sort of snack or pastry to go along with the coffee. I went with a kanelbulle, a Swedish cinnamon and cardamom bun. Definitely a nice treat if you want to slow down and relax for a few minutes during a busy day of exploring Stockholm. My last recommendation is a few things you can pick up at most grocery or convenience stores in Stockholm. I always like to see what the popular candies are in different countries, so I picked up two things from the Swedish candy company Cloetta. The first was a bag of Gott Blandat. It's a mixture of some of their most popular candies like salt licorice, Swedish fish, and fruit gummies. One thing I noticed was that the Swedish salt licorice is a lot stronger than the black licorice you get in North America, so if you like that flavor, you should definitely check it out. The other thing I got was a bag of Polly. From the bag, I thought they were going to be cream-filled chocolates, but they were actually filled with stuff that was almost like a marshmallow, but not quite. They were pretty good though, and definitely not something I've had before. So those are the 6 things I recommend you try on your visit to Stockholm, Sweden. There are some classic Swedish foods, some Stockholm street food specialties, and a few great snacks. Hopefully this helps you plan some of your meals when you go there to visit. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. And while you're at it, like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Follow Firsthand Globe on Twitter and Firsthand Globetrotting on Instagram. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.